What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Hey, it's Tuesday. It's Lions Talk Live. It's a morning show. We've got a few things to talk about today because, as we all know, the NFL season, as far as games, as far as the Detroit Lions kicks off, and man, about 48 hours, maybe a little bit more than that, but you get it about 2 days or so. Anyway, we got the whole lot going on with the Detroit Lions. We got a bunch of stuff that happened yesterday in practice. Hey, we got a new Detroit Lion who takes like 15 seconds or less to get on the field and make plays. Why was he a free agent? I don't know, but to have your first day of camp go the way it did, I'm going to guess he turned a few heads from the Lions coaching staff. We also need to go through a few things that John Morton said. You guys all know the new Lions offensive coordinator. He is going to challenge some players. He made no bones about it. He's going after everybody on the team. Nobody's going to be able to rest on their laurels, and that even includes Jared Goff. We'll get into that during the main topic of the day, though. All right, real quick, before we get into the 5 headlines on the main topic of the day and everything else in between in the comments section, hey, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Making that march for 14,100 subs, and we are 80 subs away. So if you can help out with that, I would be deeply grateful. Also, if you have a half second of time, doesn't cost you even a dang dime. Reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, the like button, whatever you want to call it button. Go ahead and hit that. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Last but most certainly never least, if you're considering buying or selling property, real estate, anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. We can have a conversation about what it can do to use over 30 years in the industry, save you some time, save you some hassle, save you some money. Go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text. It can be for vacant land, commercial properties, restaurants. I mean, the whole shebang bang. New houses and old houses, everything in between. Give me a call. I'll try to make sure to protect you, and then make sure nobody overcharges you, nothing gets missed, etc. Make the experience stress-free. How about that? All right, all that done, set out of the way. Let's get this show rocking and rolling and kicking off with 5 headlines now. All right, we got 5 glorious headlines coming your way. All right, we already kind of loosely talked about this. I know some of you guys got on it about it yesterday. It sent me over some updates. I know Hutch Jr. was there live watching practice, kind of giving me a play-by-play. Just really couldn't figure out a time to get back on the air after the morning show. But Lions signed cornerback Nick Whiteside, NBC Sports, story by Josh Aper. And again, I could probably just credit this to Hutch Jr., who was watching him over there live and in person, said a lot of good things about a number of different things. Before we get into this headline, some of you have asked about Kirby Joseph. Hutch Jr. was able to confirm that he did not practice yesterday. I think most of us knew that. But once he eventually had practice in, he did not want to talk to reporters, didn't want to be probably put on the spot and answering any questions. When he left the practice facilities, you could see him wearing a sling on the leg, so we're going to be paying more attention to that. Getting to the actual headline, though, Nick Whiteside. Hey, this guy played against us with the Washington Commanders last year in the playoffs. He's been with the St. Louis Battlehawks during the 2025 UFL season. Had 16 tackles, fumble recovery in the regular season, and 4 tackles in the postseason. Next, Nick Whiteside is the newest member of the Lions 90-man roster. The Lions released, as we all know, we talked about it yesterday, Stanley Thomas Oliver over the weekend. So that open spot created an opportunity for him. And you heard MCDC talk about in the last couple of days about he thinks the UFL should be basically a G League or a developmental league for the NFL. He also talked about the guys that come out of that league. They've been playing for months. They now got about 3 to 4 weeks off before they join, hopefully for them, some NFL teams. So they're coming in pretty much at full speed. You saw the emergence of Nick Whiteside yesterday as he picked off Hendon Hooker. I think it was like on rep 5 or 6, something like that he was actually out on the field. Took it to the house, did a bunch of other stuff, made some other plays in the secondary. So is MCDC right that when you get a UFL player, they're a little bit further along as far as getting into the groove of the season than some of the other guys have been sitting around or whatever doing off-season stuff? I think there's probably a whole lot of truth from a coaching perspective that. Whiteside also appeared in 2 games for the Commanders during the 23 season. He failed to make the cut for the 53-man roster players for the Washington Commanders during that particular season. Side note, Terrion Arnold, DJ Reed, Amik Robinson, Enos Rakestraw, Avante Maddox, Kalia Dorsey, and Rakia Singh, one of the coolest names out there, are all in competition to be one of the Lions' secondary personnel on the 53-man roster. We'll see what happens, but for Whiteside yesterday, he had a real impressive first day. If he can do that, day in and day out, you know what? He's probably got a shot at making this team. All right, next to the 5 glorious headlines. How if I can get these dang buttons to work. All right, Lions safety proclaims, "Get your popcorn ready for JMO," end quote. SI.com story by John Macron. You're hearing it from everybody who watches the Detroit Lions practices. You hear it from all the Lions players, coaches, and we'll probably talk about this a little bit during the main top of the day. JMO's for real. JMO is out there doing things he's never done before. And there's probably a multitude of reasons for that. One, the offense is different. We all get that. It will have some similarities to what Ben Johnson does or did. But it's also going to have a lot of fresh new takes. You've heard JMO talk last week about this. John Morton's allowing him to do more in the route tree than what Ben Johnson, his predecessor, would allow. The other part is, let's just face it, JMO's coming into his own. Every year he's been in the NFL, it hasn't been massive jump ups, but it's been a steady progression. In my personal opinion, I thought when the Lions made the run a couple seasons ago, got the NFC Championship game, you could see just how much he had improved. And I thought that was always confirmed when you watched every level to the playoffs we went through. You could see what the defensive coordinators were doing to him more and more. By the time we got the NFC title game, you could see the 49ers considered him one of the primary people you needed to stop. Otherwise, he was going to destroy you. And he had one of his best games of his career in that particular game. Last year, I think we can all agree, JMO continued to ascend, continued to do more of this, more of that, just got better all the way around. Well, we might be seeing where he really hits his crescendo here and just takes the top off of everything. Crossing patterns, underneath patterns, deep patterns. Brian Branch, the main topic of this, just basically talked to reporters yesterday and just said, hey, get your popcorn ready. They are struggling to contain him, and they know what he can do. They know to put 2 guys on him. And Calvin Shepard's gone on and talked about it, that his anticipations for Jameson Williams is that he's going to change a lot of defensive coverages because one guy isn't going to stop him. We've all watched in the last 5 or 6 years Tyreek Hill, and wherever he's played in Miami or Kansas City, all the challenges he provides for the other teams. We've even seen the Lions try to stop him. It's not going so well when teams attempt to do that. It sounds like we might be watching Jameson Williams really kind of ascend to that next level of the NFL pantheon towards the top of the wide receiver room. That happens. Lions are going to have, probably not a big surprise to anybody listening, the Lions are going to have one of the best offenses in football, let alone one of the best wide receiver rooms. Let's all sit back and watch. Maybe we do got to get your delicious Mountain Dew, nachos, or popcorn, but if you take Brian Branch along with everybody else at their word, Jameson Williams has arrived. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. Lions offensive lineman makes startling revelation about Washington playoff game by DT of AP Wire. We can all say what we want about Graham Glasgow. We can all say, hey, he did not have a great season a year ago. I'll leave that to you guys to say what your thoughts were about him. I've gone on record. I can only speak for myself and say, I didn't think he was that impressive last year. We all also understand he played through a lot of injuries. What we probably didn't know until yesterday is Glasgow revealed He got pretty banged up during the game last year against the Washington Commanders and probably should have came out. The problem became that Kevin Zeitler was already injured and on the sidelines, so he tried to gut through it. When you find out stuff like that, it really makes you go back and revisit that game, some of those plays that didn't go great. We all probably remember the empty backfield, Lions up 7-0. Ben Johnson, agree with it or disagree with it, on an empty backfield says, hey, 3rd and 1, we're going to throw it. And Graham Glasgow gets roasted. Goff gets hit. St. Brown falls down. The ball's fumbled. And from there, instead of potentially going up 10-0 or 14, nothing, the game kind of became a game at that point. What we do now know is Graham Glasgow said, hey, I'm going to put it on my back. Zeitler can't go. We're already down a guy on the offensive line. We're beat up. We're trying to win this game. He tried to power through it, and he did give up a career-high 9 pressures in that game. Let that sink in. We can throw a lot of blame at Ben Johnson. We can throw it at Goff. We can throw it at whoever you want. The fact that you had one interior offensive lineman surrender 9 pressures in a playoff game, that's not a good thing. I think we all understand that. It affects the running game. It affects the passing game. Graham Glasgow, though, I'll give him credit. He stands up and says, this is on me. But we also probably understand he tried to power through all those injuries he occurred over the season and then definitely in that game because they were shorthanded as is. I like the fact that maybe he's going to be healthier this year. Lions need to focus on that, and it does seem like he's trending towards being the starting center for the Detroit Lions. We'll get into that, I'm sure, during a little bit of the main topic of the day. But if you wanted to know why he was struggling in the playoff game, well, now you know. And knowing is half the battle. All right, observations. St. Brown, Laporta, dominate, SI.com. Story about John Macarone. So, hey, SI all over this one. Like we've had him on a couple different topics. Yesterday's practice, I think we can just say it was probably one of the better offensive days for the Detroit Lions. You can see the continuity developing more and more. Sion Vaki was back, and as was safety in Kennelly from their reserve absences. Vaki had been down with a hamstring injury since early part of camp, while Kennelly missed 2 consecutive practices before returning yesterday. Detroit's all-pro safety Kerba Joseph for the second straight practice on the sideline. Amik Robinson missed it as well. We'll get into Kerby Joseph once we get more information. If he's not out there today, that might be a bit of a thing, though. So, anyways, going on to these guys, we can all say this. Hey, the Lions offense, I don't know if we're going to be talking about it enough or maybe too much. I'll leave that to everybody else to ascertain. St. Brown put on a clinic yesterday, dominated, and was used on more deep passes than probably a lot of us are anticipating. We all know that Jameson Williams, probably Tesla, Khalif Raymond, whoever else you want to throw out there, they're going to be used as primary deep shots. St. Brown was used more yesterday than he had prior in the camp. He does have some speed. I'm not going to say it's going to be game-changing speed, but he does have some speed. It was nice to see them try to push the ball down there, too. Another person was taking deep shots, Sam Laporta, going up the middle of the field, running some seam routes, some post patterns, and he was having some success. We probably need to understand these are practices. Yes, they're starting to get padded. What we see out of the Lions offense Thursday, I think that will be compelling and telling John Morton's plan. John Morton, you all know he had the presser yesterday. He talked about a lot of different things, but that's definitely one of the things he did point out, that the Lions, they're going to push the ball downfield. The Lions were, I want to say, 28th in the NFL at passes 20 or more yards. And you know what? John Morton called that out and said that's not going to happen this year. We're going to be near the top. So I'm expecting the Lions are going to throw deep early and often. All right, one-on-one tackling standouts. The Lions conducted an early one-on-one tackling drills. David Montgomery was matched up against linebacker Jack Campbell early, and Montgomery made him look silly with a sharp juke move and a couple spin moves. It's good. I bring this up because a number of you guys keep asking the last week or so, what's the word with David Montgomery? Is he fully healed? Well, based on what we saw yesterday and some of the reports, it sounds like that knee's fine, no problem at all. He just now has to obviously stay healthy throughout the entire season. Jack Campbell, we all also understand he is ascending upwards. He had a struggling day yesterday bringing down some of the Lions running backs, but his defense in a one-on-one drill, it usually favors the offense, not always. And we can also probably agree that the Lions have some of the better running backs in David Montgomery and Gibbs in the NFL. St. Brown surging, already talked about. Arnold remains on an upward swing. TA had a couple nice breakups on Jameson Williams, and that's no small feat when you're talking about 7-on-7 drills. For those who haven't played it or taken part in 7-on-7, man, it is a pass-happy feast. it's easy for, well, I shouldn't say easy, but it probably favors, maybe that's a better way to word it, the offense and the receivers than anything else. You know, you can't really get after the quarterback a ton. There's limitations here and there. But Arnold, we've been talking about it this so far, early portions of camp. He stood out. You can see how much of a jump he's making from his rookie year to now. And the fact that they locked him up in man-to-man coverage with J-Mo, and he won his fair share of them, that's an impressive feat for any cornerback in the NFL, let alone a second-year rookie going up against one of the fastest guys in the NFL, maybe even on planet Earth. Kudos to Terry Arnold. Red zone offense efficient. So we were talking about Sam Laporta earlier. He caught a couple touchdown passes from Jared Goff, jumping up in the air, going over Zach Cunningham in coverage. Goff also hit St. Brown for 2 touchdowns in 7-on-7 drills. You're seeing a lot of good stuff out of Goff. You're seeing him push the ball. We'll talk about this in the main topic, but he's been incredibly accurate. Hendon Hooker accounted for 2 touchdowns during his time as the starting quarterback during these drills. The first being a touchdown pass to Zane Zylstra, who, again, I think he's going to be a struggle to make this team. He's a phenomenal pass-catching tight end. He is not, unless he's really developed on it, and I haven't seen it yet, run-blocking tight end. He concluded this time on the field with the session by scrambling in the red zone for a score, and that would be Hendon Hooker getting out and running about. Kyle Allen had some struggles in the red zone with the third team. He dropped the ball into 2 consecutive snaps, the first being a busted play that ended up in the hands of Craig Reynolds for what appeared to be a score. So he dropped the ball, fumbled the snaps. Craig Reynolds bailed him out, got into the end zone and won. Not a good day for Allen, who is in a hot competition to be the backup quarterback. It's going to be him or Hendon Hooker at this point. All right, let's go on from all this. I feel like I'm spending too much time on this particular topic. And let's get over to the last one of the 5 headlines now. John Gruden breaks down Detroit Lions, compares Goff to legendary quarterback. Gruden speaks highly of Morton, Goff, SI.com, story by Christian Bohr. We're talking about Goff a whole lot in this video, and here's what we can say. John Gruden coached in the NFL, we all know, for a long time. I know some of you aren't a fan of him. I'm not here to defend the guy or anything like that. I'm just here to talk about the story. So here's what I will say. John Gruden came into Lions practice yesterday, watched, learned, and compared Jared Goff to somebody I wouldn't have done, but hey, I'm not him. And that would be Joe Montana. And once he said it, we put it out there, I can see some similarities. I think Joe Montana might have been slightly more of a scrambler, at least early in his career, but very accurate passer, reads defenses, goes through a lot of different stuff. I can say basically from the Rams offense, the Ben Johnson version of the Detroit offense, there's probably some similarities between the West Coast offense, which you guys all know Joe Montana thrived in, and then, of course, what Jared Goff has done recent years, whatever you want to say, in his career. So I get those comparisons there. Gruden also goes down to talk about Morton and says he is a bit of a throwback to latter years, the 80s, 90s. We've talked about that before, because he is looking to run more of a traditional pro-style offense, which isn't as traditional in the NFL anymore, but he's trying to bring it back. It also fits into what MCDC wants to do. So John Gruden gave a lot of thoughts and praise, thinks Goff doesn't get enough recognition as one of the better quarterbacks in the league. He didn't put a scale saying, hey, Goff's number 6 on my list or anything like that. Just said he's a, quote, top 10 quarterback. And I'd say if you're a Detroit Lions fan or even a Rams fan, if you look at the compression of his results over his career, it's hard to deny that Goff's one of the better quarterbacks out there. Yes, he can't outrun your mom trying to get to the grocery store. I get that. But when it just comes to a passing aspect of the game, being in the quarterback position, reading these, everything like that, Goff has been throughout his career a pretty dang good, stable quarterback. Yes, people are going to say he throws a couple interceptions and fumbles. I can't find a quarterback that's been in the NFL the last 5 years who hasn't thrown an interception or a fumble. So you know what? It happens. I'd say be thankful we got who we got. If you guys, those who don't like Goff are always going to say we can get better. All right, who's that guy going to be? And how do we acquire said individual? I don't know. So give me those wise words of wisdom. All right, with all that done, let's get on over to the main topic of the day. I don't know a ton about John Morton yet, and I'm guessing most of the Duke crew, anybody watching this live or later on in the day or whenever you watch it, we're probably on the same boat. We're learning information about him and trying to figure out what he's going to do with the team, what he's going to do with the offense, what he's going to do with the receivers, the tight ends, everything. John Morton yesterday made no bones about it, talking to reporters after practice. He's going to come after Jared Goff. That's my quarterback, and I'm going to push him to do more. That's a quote. And I think anybody who's coached for any kind of length of time, been an athlete, understands that's part of a coach. They're going to come after you, try to find the buttons to push, and they're going to try to get absolutely every bit of talent out of you. John Morton doesn't seem like he cares if he upsets anybody out there on the Detroit Lions. He's not here to be your friend. He's here to be your coach. John Morton, if you heard different receivers talk about it, you heard Sam Laporta talk about it, he's getting after people, and that does include Jared Goff, who he thinks has done well in his career, but now it's time to do more in his career. He brought up the point that Jared Goff is basically 500 in the playoffs, has a heck of a regular season schedule, and 500 for a Lions quarterback, that probably should put you number one all-time in the Hall of Fame. And that's a joke, I get it. But, Jared Goff understands, when also talking to reporters yesterday, that Morton is trying to do more to add to his skills. Goff did point out, as did John Morton, that Ben Johnson's offense was not predicated on trying to gun the ball downfield. Both men seem to agree the Lions have the talent and the ability to do so. One of the big questions on Jared Goff throughout his career is, can he throw it deep? And I mean deep, like 30 yards, 40 yards in the air and hit somebody in stride. There have been some people, maybe not so much last year, but years before that, say, man, Goff and J-Mo just don't seem to be on the same page when it comes to those kill shots. J-Mo has to slow down a little bit, and there's probably some truth to that. J-Mo is a vastly different speed than most players in the NFL, so I can get where maybe they've had to work on that stuff. Last year, I think it looked smoother, cleaner when they did take those kill shots. Guys probably all remember at Chicago, outdoor weather. It wasn't bad weather, but, it's outdoor in Chicago. You're going to get a lot of wind, and Goff did rifle it down the middle of the field, hit J-Mo in stride, and he was gone, yada, yada. Sounds like John Morton talked about it. We want to do more of that, or at least put the fear of that into opposing teams, because, one, it opens up the mid-game, crossing patterns, underneath patterns, tight ends, anybody running in those areas, and it opens up the running game. If you think back to the last 2 or so years, teams that have done a pretty good job slowing us down, it's because they understood, it would appear, at least this is my speculation here, they understood Ben Johnson mostly wanted to run crossing patterns, occupy the middle of the field, and you know what? Teams eventually started saying, hey, we're going to leave 2 safeties basically in zone coverage. Everybody else in man, occupy it, and we're going to take away most of your routes here, or at least make them very challenged routes. John Morton wants to go away from that. Yes, you'll still have those routes, but if you only leave 1 or 2 guys in the deep, then everybody's one-on-one with J-Mo or Tesla or Tim Patrick or Khalif Raymond. And Khalif Raymond, just for those asking, once again did get the starting reps as the number one unit, number 3 wide receiver. So talking about speed, talking about putting some fear in other teams, it does seem like John Morton is focused more on speed on the starting offensive wide receiver groups than he is anything else. So let's Scooby-Doo this for a second. If John Morton's to be taken at his word, he wants to see Goff push the ball down the field. He did mention run more or scramble more, wants to be, quote-unquote, smart about it. But I think John Morton's going to come after Jared Goff all the time. And I have no doubt during the season, there's probably going to be times where these guys butt heads. We'll probably hear something in the media about, hey, John Morton said something about Goff's mama. Goff talked about John Morton's daddy. Whatever it is, they're probably going to butt heads at some points. But I think it's a good marriage between everything that Goff potentially could still achieve out of his game and his abilities and what Morton can put this offense into the best situation to succeed. If we really do start taking kill shots, vertical game shots, let's just say 30% of the time, you as a defensive coordinator are going to have to every snap be focused on it because of the abilities of the athletes on the field. And the Lions have become a lot more athletic, which now means if you only got 7 or 6 guys at the line of scrimmage, I get our offensive line's going through some flux this year. But versus 6 guys or even 7 guys, do you think David Montgomery has a better season? Do you think Gibbs has a better season? At the end of the day, I think John Morton's going to do everything he can to make Goff extend his abilities, put him in some uncomfortable situations to do even more, while making this offense for the Detroit Lions maybe the greatest things that we've seen since the St. Louis greatest show on turf of the late 90s, early 2000s. And there have been some other great offenses too. It makes me kind of think of like the Tom Brady, Randy Moss offense when the New England Patriots went undefeated in the regular season and lost in the Super Bowl. That offense was just so complete. You had to guard 50 wide and 100 long all the time, because at any point you could just throw it deep and say, man, Moss, go get it. And I think they had a couple other guys that could really race and go get it. It just put a ton of stress and pressure on those opposing defenses. Some people are going to say Goff can't throw it that far. It sounds like John Morton says, I think he can, and he's going to show you. Also scrambling a little bit more. We saw some more scrambling out of Goff last year. What do you guys think, though? Is Morton doing the right thing by pushing Goff's buttons? And again, you've heard other players talk about he's coming after them too. It's not just Goff. I personally, as a coach, I love it. You got to pick your times when to do it and when not to do it. But it does sound like he thinks Goff is mentally tough enough where I can come after you, get in your face, put a finger, and say, hey, you need to step up here and own this moment. You've seen the Lions in the past. If you remember, Aaron Rodgers' last game in Green Bay, the 4th down and 2 or whatever, they said, we're going to put it in Goff's hand. And we've seen some other times, like when we beat the Rams in the playoffs 2 years ago, the Lions coaching staff said, no, we believe in Goff. We're going to let you go do it. It sounds like Morton's going to take that to an extreme, though. It can make or break him. If you think Goff is mentally weak, then you probably don't want him doing this stuff. If you think Goff is mentally strong, then you probably do, because you know what? Jared Goff has had some MVP-esque type seasons in the last year or two. Sounds like he might push those numbers up even more this year. All right, I've rambled on about all of these topics, probably too long. Let's get over to the Duke Crew and see what you guys have to say. I'll do my best to power through each and all the comments in 34 minutes. All right, JDC, morning all. Back at you until the hunt. I see Super Bowl loading. Hey, I like the way you're thinking. I see a Super Bowl loading. All right, we'll see it all loading. All right. Trey Tipton, what's good, everybody? Question mark. I like what Morton had to say yesterday. Put that fire to the butts of a lot of players, 100%. Don't let people become complacent. At least in my opinion, as a coach or in life, the moment you get complacent, you start going down. It sounds like Morton believes St. Brown can get better. Penei Sewell can get better. And he's going to do everything he can to get after those guys, get the most out of Gibbs, Montgomery, Baki, Jared Goff, whoever else you want to list on there. Johnny L, Yabba Duke Crew, good morning to the Duke Crew and Coach Dan too. Hey, thank you very much. Good to see you, my friend. Stephanie, hey, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. First day back at work, so I can only really listen in. Just wanted to say thank you, Coach Dan. Hey, no worries. And I will, you know what? Hey, 82 cents at the Circle K still buys a delicious Mountain Dew for like 20 some years. Johnny, good morning, Stephanie Water, and congrats on the victory, 100%. Everybody in the Duke Crew, she won. I don't know all the particulars about it. I do know she won, so congrats to you. All right, Jets, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Morton sounds like he wants more out of the receivers and the quarterbacks. Good for him. Push them. Congrats, girl. I'm pretty sure I picked you out, Stephanie. You owned that bout. I'm going to leave it alone, let her address that, or I guess if you guys seen it, then you've seen it. But, I'm staying away from that because I get she has a real life name and she's got a fighting name. And, I got to be careful not to give those things out. It's not my place. All right, Gary, morning crew. Just a few more hours until we all get to see our players on the field for the first time. Actual game action, exclamation point. Can't wait. Gary, I'm with you. I can't wait to see them on the field. Get this over with. Get them on the field and, start getting the ideas for some of these guys, how they're going to ascend, the type of offense and defense we're going to do. It's going to be vanilla from a game plan standpoint. I get that, but I'm still excited to see Lions football again. Drake, good morning, Duke Crew. For a few reasons, I have zero respect for Gruden, but he does know football. He appears to think very highly of Morton and Goff. Yeah, I think we can agree with that. I think that was pretty well worded there, Drake, so I'm with you there. Mike the Marine Gunny, howdy, Dan and Duke Crew family. Woo! Back at you, 100%. Hookadoo. Top of the morning, Duke Crew, Stephanie. I have tried to find your fight and no luck. Could you send Dan a link? I'd love to see your fight, and congrats on the victory. Oh, yeah, I'm down with that. Let's see what she does. Brants, congrats, Stephanie. Hopefully this can really go next level this season. Hard to imagine that given our success last year. Yeah, that's going to be the tough part. We get, some of it out of attrition last year with all the injuries. We went for it more on 4th downs, so we had more opportunities. I guess the other side of that is if the defense really rises up, maybe get more takeaways, more stops, gives the offense more opportunities as well. So we'll see, but I think the offense is going to be deadly. Kerry, congrats, Steph. I'm down with that. Mark, this team would be terrible without Goff. Let that sink in. I think you're right with that. And again, I get those who hate Goff are always going to say, hey, we need to get a different quarterback. The answer I never get from anybody, the vast majority of the time is, who's that quarterback going to be that we know is better? And how do we acquire him? Some people say in the draft, but at least in my experience, the draft is a total flip of the coin. You can have the number 1 pick or the number 275 pick. And when you draft a quarterback, there's no guarantee that person makes it. I want to say the historic average for quarterbacks drafted is like under 40% work. That means 60% of the time you're wrong. And if, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's 35%, but you get the idea. More often than not, that quarterback is going to be out of the league in 3 to 4 years. Hassani Madley, good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew. Back at you, my friend. Good to see you. Hopefully having a good afternoon. Johnny L, yo, Coach, did you get my text yesterday? I think I responded to you, didn't I? Let me know, but I'm pretty sure I did. Maybe I didn't. Henry Moore, good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew. What a team. What a podcast. Exclamation point. What a time to be a Lions fan. Woo! Hey, good morning to you as always. Hookadoo, Johnny L has entered the building. Grit. Oh, yeah. I'm done with that. Johnny L, good morning. Hookadoo. Jets. Hookadoo, if it was the fight I was thinking of, she beat the doors off the fighter. It was bad. Yeah, I'll put it this way. I watched it. It was fairly one-sided. I was actually impressed that they didn't stop it earlier because usually in UFC or, MMA, it's not like boxing, 20, 30 years ago where they let you go 15 rounds, even though they don't do 15 rounds anymore. Somebody's clearly got the upper hand. They usually try to, shut that down. Henry, congrats, Stephanie. There you go. Big Eddie, good morning. Our new corner makes plays quickly. Yes, he did. Laughing out loud. Was it just a good day for him, or is he that good? We'll have to wait and see. If he keeps doing it day in and day out, then, it adds credence to what MCDC said that some of these UFL guys, they've got a big advantage because they've been playing for months, and they've been playing, not practicing. So we'll see what shakes. Johnny, I still haven't seen Stephanie's fight. You'll have to find it online. I don't have a link or anything like that to it. Hookadoo, Mr. Hassani, one more day closer for our first one of the season, and Ahmed will be a shining star. I think he will be a shining star for sure, and I can't wait to watch him and all the rookies out there, to be fair. Trey, Big Eddie, see if you can do it during a few days of practice. Great first day of camp with the Lions. Oh, yeah, no questions there. He made some real, noteworthy plays. Gary, hard to root against Jim, but I will. We'll go with that. Look at me either. Johnny L is hoping she'll send a link to Dan so she can post it for us. Yeah, see if she does. And that's her prerogative, not mine, and if she has one. Mark, I enjoy my grit. Salty, there you go. Hey, maybe a little vinegar and salt with that. Johnny L, good morning, Mr. Hassani. Silver Sir, good morning, Coach and everyone. Same to you, Susan Scott. Good morning, Duke Crew and Coach Dan. How many of our rookies play Thursday? I'm going to guess if they're healthy, and if the training staff thinks they're all healthy, I'm going to assume most, if not all of them. I could see where Tyreek Williams doesn't play just to try to let that hamstring rest up a little bit more. Or maybe there's somebody else I'm not considering. Miles Frazier obviously isn't going to play, but I think we all knew that one. JDC, Puff, woo, Coffee, and Lions Talk Live. Sounds like a good start to your day. Hookadoo, Mark Garcia, and a little pepper. Ooh, nothing wrong with that. A little pepper, a little vinegar, maybe a little hot sauce. Now we're talking. Johnny L. Susan, I think all of them could be. Yeah, I hope we do get to see them all. Five Fingers Ready. Johnson did not push the ball down the field. It would appear that Morton will a lot. Yes, I agree with that. And again, I want to say Morton said something like the Lions were 28th in the league, 27th or whatever it was in downfield shots, 20 or more yards, where he says, yeah, we're going to try to be in the top 5 of the league. All right, Cynthia, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. Back at you. Good to see you. Mark, Villains of the North. Ooh, I like that. Detroit versus everybody mentality. Johnny L. Thunder and Lightning, baby. Oh, yeah, let's go, Lions. Let's get them going. Look, do I agree, Susan Scott? Pretty sure they all will play at one point or another. Yeah, 100%. The only one I think maybe doesn't would be Tyreek Williams, and I get it, man. You're trying to rest up that hamstring, keep it ready for opening day. Jessica, hey, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew, we are all super excited to see the team this week. Yeah, no doubt about it. I think we're all ready. Even Jen, the wife, who isn't the biggest football fan, she just doesn't understand it. So, like, when we watch a game, she's just, it's hard for her because she doesn't understand football even after all these years. She said she'll watch it. So I was like, whoa, that's a win for me. Silver, I wonder if they will play Tyreek Williams as he is considered already a starter, considering he comes from a hamstring and they arrested him a few days ago. Season is long. It is, man. So I won't be surprised if they let him sit. To your point, maybe him and Ratledge don't play because they are, I would assume, starters at this point. We'll see. So I'm so pumped for Thursday. Rookies nail it. I hope they do. Server. And good morning, Mr. Modley in Egypt. Yes, indeed. Good afternoon to you. Johnny L. Good morning, JDC. So long. I want to see Hooker just gun that ball all over the field, go deep. Yeah, I want to see John Morton's offense. I think from just a physical standpoint is pretty ideal for Hendon Hooker. I understand he's had some accuracy issues, but I think you can learn accuracy in time. It's hard to teach some of the things he has that, maybe he can't teach. I can't make somebody faster, bigger, or stronger usually. All right, Pierce, only one player needs to be called out. We'll see who that person is. We're going to do T-3 days and counting. Oh, yeah, I'm down with that. Pierce, good morning, Duke Crew. Same to you. Tori, Ben was pretty introverted as a person and coach. I like Morton challenging his players. Get after them and demand more. Yeah, I'm with you there 100%. I know just from my coaching past, people always say, the Dan and everywhere in life is one person, and then the coach is completely different. There's probably a lot of truth. I challenge players. I get in their face. I do everything I can to get the most out of them. And I let them all know it's not because I hate you. It's not that I'm angry at you. It's just I want to find every ounce of talent in you and get it out of you, make you the best version of you can be. Usually at some point it clicks with them and they understand that, but I can also understand when you're first meeting a coach, in this case, John Morton, I can see where some people might have a raised eyebrow about it and it takes a little time to develop that trust. All right, JDC, good morning. Johnny L, I concur. Michael, Goff gets called out. It seems a bit harsh for what? Question mark? Laughing out loud. He got called out. He got challenged, however you want to term it. But John Morton, I like the fact that he's getting after him. And to be clear, it's not just Goff. It was, you heard it from St. Brown. You heard it from J-Mo. J-Mo said, he's letting me do everything in the playbook from a wide receiver standpoint, where before he was kind of, I guess, babied a little bit. But I like the fact that John Morton's getting after everybody and, not afraid to call him out and say, hey, you got to do more. You got to do more. JDC, tick, tick, tick. We're ticking away. We're going to do morning, Pierce. And who could that player be, Pierce? Ooh, we'll find out. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. What are we calling him? Johnny Mo? Question mark. Hopefully calling him, the prodigal son. I don't know. How about a star for the Lions? Pierce, we're going to do a certain injury-prone one. All right, laughing out loud. Man, I thought we got rid of Emmanuel Mosley. See, Kurt Steele. I'm interested in hearing this tape because I watched his media availability and didn't hear a call. I suppose it's a matter of interpretation. Yeah, I think it's coaches challenging him. How about that? Server, there is a lot to learn on the craft of the O-lineman. I wonder if Manu, with all his physical talent, will be able to overcome that huge gap. Skipper and Jones surely better. Can Lions afford him out? Yeah, I think Manu's going to be fine. The reports all seem to suggest he's vastly different than he was a year ago. And I don't get the impression when the Lions drafted him, they really wanted a one-year turnaround on him. I think next year is when the Lions are starting to anticipate a return on that investment with Giovanni Manu. Been wrong before, though. Johnny Sosmo, he has to learn to check down and make those short passes, but yeah, it can't wait to see him play. Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat there. Trim Reaper, let's go Lions, exclamation point. Woo! Kurt Steele, the prodigal son himself, the man of steel. What up, though, Duke Crew? What's up, man of steel? Professors in the house. Cynthia, Kurt Steele, I didn't hear it either. All right. Johnny L, Thunder and Lightning. There we go. Dennis, good morning. Dan and Duke Crew. I know right. Says Kurt Steele. Johnny, Sonic and Knuckles, baby. Oh, yeah, I'm down with that. Pat Rock, J Beep Beep is going deep, deep. Hey, I kind of like that. Pierce, the Trim Reaper. What did the DDI be today? We'll find out. Steve Rogers completes the beep beep. Mary Smith, good morning, Duke Crew and Lions fans. All right, we'll find out the rest. I'm guessing Mary got cut off there. Thomas, good morning. Dan Duke Crew, has Morton ever called plays on the sidelines? Question mark. It will be interesting. That's a good question, Thomas. I don't have an answer for that. Some OCs prefer to be up on the booth. Some like to be on the sidelines. I don't know Morton's preference there. I'm guessing, we won't know until game 2, 3, or 4 of the season. If he's always in one place or the other, that's probably his preference. Johnny is laughing. Kurt Steele. Thomas Burke, he has called plays in the NFL as the OC for the Jets. Yeah, but I don't know if it was up in the booth or on the sidelines. That part I don't know. Stephanie, thank you all. Exclamation point. Lauren, good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew, and Professor Steele. 100%, my friend. How you doing today? Kurt Steele, he has said he will be in the booth, not the sidelines. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I didn't know that answer. Thank you for that, Professor Steele. See, he's educating us all, the professor is. Thomas, I lean heavy on the pass run. I think it's going to be a mixture of both. I mean, I get MCDC wants a one-base team, but with John Morton, with what he seems to be dialing up, and we won't know until we get, established baseline in the season, but I'm guessing he's going to be run and pass, use the run to set up the pass, etc. Big D, yo, I'm on time. Woo! Hey, well, welcome on in. Man Bear, good morning. Same to you. Kurt Steele, 71. Congrats. Brian, good morning. Everyone, go Lions. Big D, Mr. Steele, great morning. 100%. Mark, Morton needs to let Goff ball. Okay, there is no need to be called out. Yeah, I don't think it's like a rude thing. I think it's a challenging thing. A coach's challenging of a player. See, Joseph, having a coffee on the deck and admiring the beautiful, all right, the garden. All right, we'll go with that. Dre Day, sounds like Morton will be calling plays from the booth, or did I misinterpret that? No, it sounds like from what Kurt Steele said, it will be from the booth. Yeah, I didn't even consider looking into that part. Big D, Stephanie, woo, exclamation point, way to go, champ. There you go. Kurt Steele, Thomas, whoever is hot, yeah, exclamation point, he likes explosive plays. He does indeed. He wants, again, I get it. He wants to challenge the defense every play. James Rich. Oh, what up, Coach and Duke Crew? Question mark. What are we going to do with all those weapons? Question mark. Feels like we are overstocked. I won't be surprised. I know we talk about this a lot on the show. It won't just be the wide receiver room or the tight end room, but I won't be surprised if a lot of the players that we're going to move on from when we cut down to 53 end up being trade possibilities to other teams. Because, hey, there's going to be some real good NFL players that aren't playing in Detroit after cut down day. All right, Ogadu Pierce, it's the Hall of Fame game. He could be going for it. More injury-prone player in the Hall of Fame. Could be. Dre Day, I didn't hear him call out Goff unless it was a separate interview. No, he talked about it you get the presser. He went through some semantics or whatever, but after practice yesterday, he did talk to reporters about challenging a lot of players. You heard St. Brown mention he's been challenged. J-Mo, he's been given more freedom. And he did mention that John Morton is challenging him to do more and more with those freedoms. Goff has mentioned it. So, in my opinion, he's called them all out. Let them know that, hey, I'm going to put you in harm's way. I'm going to demand you do more and more on every single aspect of the game. He's calling them out and demanding that this team's got a lot of potential, a lot of talent. We're getting after it. He's going to give you an opportunity to either rise or fall. Brett, congrats, Stephanie. I'm down with that. JDC. Joseph, we see Erie, Plan B. I'll go with Plan B. Kurt, Brent DeWitt. Let's see, Walt Mark. Good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew. Woo! Back at you. Kurt Steele, Brent DeWitt, salute. There we go. Joseph, nice puff pass. There you go. JDC, smiling thumbs up. Jennifer, good morning, all. Brent, salute. Kurt, Man of Steel. The Man of Steel's here. JDC, morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Back at you with an exclamation point. We're going to do morning, Professor Steele and Brent DeWitt. Grit wins. You got to love the grit. Big D. Let's go. Got to edit that. Go, guys. Love the team. J-Mo Raymond gonna be an issue. So as such, this team will be playing upset all year. I agree with that. And again, that's what coaches do. They understand, like you've heard a number of the players this offseason talk about how upset they've been with the way last year ended. They were going to use that as fuel for this year. Come into tournament and everything. You know what? As a coach, I would say you take advantage of that by challenging your players. Getting after them, calling them out, saying, I've watched a lot of coaches. I'm sure I've done it. I'm sure MCDC, John Morton, Aaron Glenn, whoever you want to list, have all done this. Somebody makes a great play. You call them out and say how they could have done it better, what they also could have done. You find ways to get under their skins. You're not doing it to upset them. You're not trying to embarrass them. You're trying to get them to push themselves to become even more. Think about Jameson Williams a year ago. Think about what we think we're going to see with him this year. He's been pushed to do more. Some of that is he's being given more flexibility. He's developed. But I think John Morton legitimately is going to ride him left and right to make him become the player when the Lions targeted him in the draft and brought him in. He could be. St. Brown, can you get more on him? Jared Goff, he's been successful in the league for a decade. We'll just say a decade. Can you get him to do more now? And that's why I think the brilliance of some coaches lie, and John Morton seems like he's trying to tap into that. Big D, J-Mo Waymo, not Raymond. All right, we'll go with that. Brent, hey, Hookadoo. Walt Marks made a live show. Woo! And thank you for making that, my friend. Kurt Steele. Whiteside is no stranger to the NFL. No, he's been around for a bit there, 100%. There, BOA. Good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. Same to you. Mary Smith. Good morning, Duke Crew and Lions fans. Make them young men are looking good. I got a rook in my neck for trying to keep up with all them weapons we got. We've got a lot of weapons, and hopefully your neck is okay, by the way. Server, nobody questions Morton's knowledge about X and O's, yet you can feel there is skepticism around him. I think Goff is going to have more freedom. Yeah, 100%. One thing for sure, that man is not comfortable with media. Yeah, he's not there yet. It's just not his thing. Some people, it's just not their thing. Big D, Surfer, I agree. Big D, glad to have so much competition. Iron sharpens iron. I concur. Johnny L, Surfer, I totally agree. Phil, good morning. Dre Day, seems fine to me. Just sound like a guy that preferred to not talk to me, but go to work. I can respect that. I'll go with that. What's up, brother? Says Spirit of Detroit podcast. Avery, let me know if you can get on sometime. I would love to get you back on. I know you do some great work, man. Let's see if we can maybe have a little brief interview with you, whenever your schedule frees up. Johnny, I'm so glad that we got the John Morton. I think we're all going to be pretty happy with it. We're going to beep, beep. Here he comes. There you go. Carrie, 175 watching, 47 thumbs up. Come on, peep. Hit that like. Yeah, if you guys can, hit the like, subscribe. Spirit of Detroit, Avery, I was editing that day. Sorry, I didn't get back to you in a timing, man. Hey, no worries, man. Just whenever you get a hot second. You're good in my book. Server, Dre Day. Yeah, I heard that right, Morton. Be playing man up there. Let's hope he does. JDC, who was thanked without a fight? I'll go with that. Johnny L, this season is going to be absolutely 100% awesome for the Lions. I concur. Mary, I got my popcorn and I'm ready for some football. I've got the nachos ready and everything else in between. Hey, hopefully we all kick back, Mary, and enjoy it. Dre Day, I'm not looking forward to all the Goff hate for JMO mishaps. I just hope he sticks to Star Brown and Laporta and not force feed JMO, who will still like he is not coming back to the ball. Yeah, hopefully he's grown, developed. That's probably part of what Morton and the rest of the offensive coaches are working on. Courtney, greetings, salutations, coach and Duke crew. Exclamation point, great team plus special teams is tops. I'm down with that. Pierce Hookadoo, facts, good sir. There we go. Michael, that's the thing. We're not in last year. We're in this year. Who cares about last year? I agree. Last year does nothing for you this year. Hookadoo, you can have popcorn and the neck rub for that stiff neck. Mary Smith, yeah, 100%. Get that neck taken care of, man. That's never fun when your neck's acting up, flared up. Mary Smith, thank you, Hookadoo. Silver, I think the skepticism around Morton is generated by him not being comfortable in the spotlight. In fact, seems like everybody is trying to defend him and validate him. Very similar to Davenport. Yeah, could be. Haters House, 710. Greetings from Los Angeles. Got to be a great time to be out there. Hopefully you are staying, having a great morning or whatever out there. I know it's not even 4 a.m. there, if I'm not mistaken. So again, friends, good morning. Captain Dan and the Duke crew, back at you. Haters House, by the way, man, get yourself a delicious Mountain Dew. I know they have Circle K's out there. I've been to a few. All right. Dre Day. Both Frank and Glasgow were badly hurt during the Commanders game. Glad the team drafted youth this year. Yeah, and so was Zettler. So to your point, we all know that Frank the Tank played all season basically on one arm. And to your point, Zettler missed a lot of that game. Glasgow beat up. I get he did not perform well, but he looked over the sideline and was like, I got to stay in for the team. And, give him credit for that. Phil, Glasgow does not like playing center. If he plays another year out of position, he may not have a great year. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. If they're saying he's the best option, I don't know. We'll see what shakes. Johnny, the whole team does. Michael, there you go. Amy, good morning. Tick, tick. We're ticking away. What can do? Welcome in, Haters House. 100%, man. Got up extra early to join the Duke crew today. Thank you very much for that, Haters House. Kurt Steele, Spirit of Detroit podcast. What up, though? We'll find out. Reversion of the mean. Talk about somebody I haven't seen in a hot second. Happy Tuesday. It's starting to feel a little football lately. Yes, I feel a little bit like football season. Ain't it? Good to see you, my friend. Pierce, does anyone see MCDC adding Gruden to the staff? We'll see what shakes out. JC, sit high in the saddle, fellow Lions Talk Livers. I'm down with that. Michael, well, they got to go all the way then. Right? Let's go all the way to the Super Bowl and win it. Gary, that's why you have Colleen. There you go. There we go. Robert, Coffee, Woo Crew. There we go. Coffee for the Woo Crew. Moonscar. Hey, all good morning. Back at you. Moonscar Blade. Silver, anybody know if Saints routes have resurfaced? Slant routes have resurfaced. That I don't know. Daniel, good morning. Duke Crew from East Tennessee. Good morning to you. Hopefully you're having a great time. Gary, that's why you have colon filth. There, it might be true. Professor Steele Pierce, heck no, Gruden is making money without the stress of coaching at Barstool. Yeah, he's doing that. I want to say he's got his own YouTube channel and stuff. So I get it, man. He's probably at the point where he doesn't want to coach anymore. So, let's see, Joseph. Some are reporting that Hutch was able to bull rush Panay. Yikes. Yeah, I won't be surprised, Joseph, if at time from time he can pull that off. Just like time from time, Panay is probably going to win. I was Spirit Detroit. What's up, Kurt Steele? D13. I just hope he doesn't get deep ball happy with a new young O-line trying to hold up in the pocket. No, to your point, that's a great point. you got to protect that O-line, let them grow, let them mature and develop. And yes, you don't want to take unnecessary shots on your quarterback, whoever it is. Hook it up, Moonscar, how's your grit doing? Oh, yeah, I'll go with that. Lions Talk Live fan, what up, dudes? Let's see, Pierce, Kurt Steele was curious as to why he is at camp. I think he's just going around to all different camps, probably producing content. Kurt Steele, Pierce Sargent, here's Johnny Moe's mentor. It could be. Oh, was he? Yeah, good call on that one. Yeah, you're right. He was a part of the development of Johnny Morton. Love John Gruden and his football analysis. There we go. Johnny L. I think that when Goff retires, he should become the quarterback coach. Maybe he will. Dre Day. Deep passes are a good thing when you need a fast score, but it's probably better to do short pass, kill clock, tire the defense, and score low. Yeah, I'll go with that. I remember when I used to cover the Detroit Lions, when the run and shoot first came in, late 80s, but whatever. One of the complaints was the Lions would score so fast, the defense never got to rest. My always response was, well, yeah, but can't the defense just get stops and then they get off the field? But unfortunately, at that point, the Lions were not getting a lot of stops. Phil, what is a second-year rookie coach? We'll find out. Kerry, you're right about that, Dre Day. Big D, I love Gruden. Pierce, Kurt Steele, I get that. We always love seeing another offensive guru around. Yeah, 100% with that. Hey, what's this? Just for that, Daniel, we got to give you something. So, hey, how about this? And thank you from the bottom of my heart very much. Thank you so much, man. I will make sure Bobby gets a very nice tip for her. All right, Mary, prayers go out to our NFL members and the employees that work in the building in the New York. Yeah, my real estate boss, his son works at that building. Thankfully, he wasn't there when the shooting happened, but I didn't know about it until I woke up at like 1 a.m. to go get some water, and he had texted me about it. And thoughts and prayers to all those families affected. You're spot on with that, Mary. Xavier, good morning, Duke Crew. May you be blessed! Exclamation point. Same to you and everybody in the Duke Crew. Great to be a Lions fan. This is a different team in a great way! Exclamation point. Woo! I'm down with that. Big D. Woo! Oh. WTG Inchman. All right. Let's see, Phil. Thank you, Daniel. Great support. 100% with that. No doubt about that. Well, amen to that, Mary. Tragic thing. It was indeed. Kurt Steele. That move that Waymo put on Rocky Sin was insane. Yeah, I think we're hearing more and more about that, which to your point, Kurt, you got Tyrion Arnold making some plays on him. I mean, that speaks pretty highly of TA. I think they're both making each other better, like we talked about with Penei Sewell and then Aiden Hutchinson making each other better. Yeah, this should be a pretty fun camp. Drady, Goff is a top 3 quarterback behind Allen and Mahomes. I'll go with that. Johnny L, Goff is the man. Goff is the man. Yeah, baby, I'm down with that. There we go with that podcast. There we go. Yes, sir, says Avery. Let's see, Silver Server, Dre Day. Well, who is going to give up the chance to score fast on big plays? Question mark. You put up 21 in the first quarter, and then you can play your cards with run and safe passes, get them points. Yeah, just get whatever the defense is giving it, you take it. Rocky Singh ain't J-Mo Love at all, says Spirit of Detroit podcast. I'm down with that. Hookadoo praying. Michael, mobile quarterback means they can't rely on the O-line protection from the opposing defense. All right, we'll go with that. Chris Steele, Spirit of Detroit podcast. Mix JMO speed and improve route running. It's going to spell trouble for cornerbacks this season. I think you're spot on with that. Johnny L, Super Bowl baby. Dre, JDC, Dre Ford's rocks, and he rolls. Big D, Big Trouble Steele. Right? Big Trouble in Little Detroit. Big Detroit? I don't know. That was a great movie. Big Trouble in Little China. Johnny L and rolls. Robert, so ready for some football? I think we're all chomping at the bit. Smart coaches wouldn't plan for big passes, but if it's open, go for it. But the plan should be 4 yards a play, slow burn tires, the defense win a dominant fashion. Silver Server. All right, we'll go with that, Dre. Agreed, says Kerry. Joseph, and timing and trust with Goff and Waymo was evident on that sweet touchdown. Yeah, the one in Chicago. At least I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Silver Server. Man, I do not see much of Lovett, one of my favorite rookies, but those consistent catches and stuff from Tesla, my goodness, those really impress me, and I'm very difficult to impress. I'll go with that. Hopefully they all impress us all preseason. Kurt, Joseph, true. Non-laughers, I heard Goff has only 2 losing seasons, rookie year and first year in Detroit. I think that's accurate. I want to say his first year with the Rams, yeah, it didn't go well. They got a new coach, they got McVay, et cetera, and then things quickly turned around. Kurt Steele, the non-laughers, are QB's wins really a stat? Question mark, asking for myself. I'll go with that. There BOA, Goff and Morton equals next great quarterback OC connection. Let's hope so. Johnny L, sounds about right. Joseph, never thought wins and losses were a quarterback stat. Who knows, man? Who knows? Let's see, Amy, 366 watch, only 78 hit thumbs up, exclamation point. Come on, guys. It's easy. Hit those buttons for our great coach. Hit them for the Duke crew. Thank you very much for that. Kurt Steele, Goff's arm is stronger than people think, but he doesn't have the arm cannon like Stafford. No, I think we all agree on that. Great day, Kurt Steele. Quarterbacks is the only position on the field that connect to wins. All right, we'll go with that. So let's see. Joseph, sorry, Amy, I'm guilty. I hit it. Thank you very much. Uncle Buzz, good to see you. It's been a hot second. Everyone is a stat. Everything is a stat if it fits your thought process. Nah, that could be some wise words of wisdom. Miles Mark, greetings, salutations all. I think it's good for the O and Goff. Goff is not complacent. No, yeah, keep him not complacent. Keep him developing. Sir, Dre Day, I respect your point. On every pass play, there is different options. It remains to be seen what the percentage of deep options on every play and how much Jared Goff will go for them. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see 100%. Lions bad guy, 2 more sleeps until game day. Then we wait all day. Oh, so close. Oh, far away. Go Lions. Woo, I'm down with that. Jason, 4th most passing plays, over 25 yards last year. Improving on that would be fun football to watch. Yeah, I think we're going to get a lot of that. All right, who can do morning, Miles Bar? That will test his grit. I'll go with that. Dominic, good morning from Texas. Thank you for waking up early and joining the show there, Dominic. Hopefully it's not too hot for you today. Carl, way to go, Steph, exclamation point, and good morning, crew. Back at you. Thank you for that, Carl. Miles Mario Hookadoo, I like it, and Goff's my favorite. Hey, nothing wrong with having a favorite as your quarterback. Kerry, Goff's actually is off the charts. That's what we'll have with him. It doesn't throw many contested short passes. No, he doesn't throw too many contested short passes. Sir, but I like the idea of long bombs, long runs, fast scoring. That puts a heck of a pressure on opposing offense to score. And here comes more passes. Less runs. Lions defense can shoot the quarterback. You know, there's all sorts of ways you can Scooby-Doo it. You know, I can only tell you from my personal coaching philosophy, we're going to go for it on every play if it's there. And if you can't keep up, oh, well, that's your problem, not ours. Silver Surfer, congrats, Stephanie. Woo! I'm down with that. Dre Day, Silver Surfer, we will see. Just hope Goff doesn't force too many deep passes because of play design. No, I think he'll take whatever is given to him. He's at that point in his career. JC, this is for you, Steph, exclamation point. Southwest, anybody hating on Goff at this point should be ignored. Only an idiot won't see how good he is. If not, go check his numbers. And Lamar and Allen are so good, never saw a Super Bowl, though. You know, there's a lot of good quarterbacks who never get to the Super Bowl, the dance, whatever you want to say. Goff's been there. You can debate back and forth to the end of time, whether it's, you know, he could have done more to win, or maybe a couple of passes were held on to, the Rams won. Either way, they didn't win. All right, saying that Goff can't handle it, I think you're right. I think you're all right that Goff is going to probably take us to the promised land. Are you going to look at Caleb Williams, laughing out loud? He was the number 1 pick. Yes, he was. Kerry. Just scoring every time you have the ball puts a lot of pressure on opposing teams. That is very accurate. Daniel Inch, love yet a coach that pushes his players to excel. He is creating work ethic and allow the cream to rise to the top. Go, Coach Morton. Down with that, exclamation point. Yeah, and that's kind of my take on it. He's coming after the players. He's getting after them. He wants more out of them. I don't think it's a bad thing, but I leave that to each of us to come to your own thoughts. Let's see, Joseph. Actually, in defensive recognition would be the first 2 traits I would want in a quarterback. Probably good places to start. Silver Server, Dre Day, hope AG will discern, choose well. After all, it's about his choices, right? Yeah, as long as you trust his decision-making process. All right, Phil, Coach, your favorite hot sauce? Ooh, man, I got a few good ones. Don't have time right now to list them all. Dre Day, because of that assessment, I believe they won't have as many. Goff is too smart to go that route. Yeah, if it's open, he'll take it. If not, he won't. Johnny Gaz, what's good Duke crew? Exclamation point. Happy Tuesday. Best Lions talk / community. Appreciate you all. 100%. The Duke crew is awesome. Silver Surfer. Crystal, Miles Martin. Hi, Johnny Gaz Sports. Gary, Gazman in the house. Yes, he is. Michael, Wayne Fonts 3rd and 7. Give the ball to Barry. Hey, but it strangely worked enough, but he had faith in Barry. PM5 TV, this defense is going to be really good this year. If they can stay healthy, look for big things. Davenport and Hutch are going to make one heck of a tandem. I want revenge and Lamar and Jane Daniels. I'm down with that. Till then, I'm afraid that Ahmed Hassani might hurt some charges Thursday night. Let's hope he does. Although, you know, don't hurt him intentionally or, you know, in a bad way. All right, we only got about a minute or so, and then I got to get you guys over to the presser. Kerry, I ain't afraid. Phil, have heard anything on Mahogany? Excuse me. Anything? Nothing. It's all been good so far, I think. Silver Server. Coach, you must remember that for the last 2 seasons, they have been wondering why they haven't giving J-Mo more routes and targets. It sounds like Ben Johnson was behind it. There, BOA. I like OC calling out Goff. Yeah, challenging him, St. Brown, a bunch of guys. Jonathan heard he's going to be calling plays from the booth. It sounds right. Phil, Jets media complain Morton is a run, pass guy. Well, I hope not. Could be a result of what they have there. Who knows? Till down, he said he would be up in the booth. There you go. Trim Raper. Well, my refrigerator went to bed. Thanks, Davenport. Yeah, might be Davenport's fault. JC Gully, Morton said he's in the booth. He likes to see the whole field. There we go. All right, guys, it's 8 o'clock. I got to get you over to the presser. If you would be so kind, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. We'll get you out of here. If there's breaking news later today, I'll get it to you as quick as possible. Otherwise, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. And we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all.
Happy trails to you until